Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's check out ATRI, My Dear Moments, on PC. Now this is the demo. It's not the game isn't released yet, although it is supposed to release sometime next month. Right. Let's take a brief look at the settings that you can set. I have mine on full screen on 16:9 with all the visual effects on. Now this is for cursor placement, whether or not the game continues after you save. Then I've increased the speed to max so that it displays the text as fast as possible. I've set auto mode to auto, and then it will pause when you're making choices, and then it'll return to auto mode. Left all the sounds on default. And the same on the dialogue settings. Alright, let's check it out. I'm surrounded by endless darkness. Oop. Let's go back here. Not a single ray of light illuminates my path as I crawl through the gloom, praying for an exit that may not even exist. But as hard as I try, I cannot move. My leg is crushed beneath a dreadful weight, completely trapped. Searing agony radiates through my body. Please, Mom, someone, help! My hands scramble around in the dirt, reaching out for anyone, anything, but they find nothing. It hurts. It hurts. Somebody, save me! I awaken suddenly to the sight of my hand stretched out towards the low ceiling of my room. Grasping at nothing, I let my arm drop down by my side. And then I feel it. My body twists and contorts in intense pain, and an intense pain throbs in my right leg. After a few torturous seconds, it disappears as if it was never there in the first place. I lay limply back onto the bed, trying to slow my breathing. My body is coated in a clammy layer of sweat. I must have fallen asleep. I raise my head and look down at my leg, or at least where it should be. The very same right leg that just moments ago was pulsing with agony as non-existent as it has been for the past 8 years. And yet it still hurts. The empty space where my flesh would be still torments me. There are no nerves there to send signals to my brain, but my mind will still not accept the truth. They call it phantom pain. It started to flare up again lately. Phantom pain isn't affected by regular painkillers. I mean, of course it isn't. It's an illusion, pain emanating from nerves that don't even exist. A doctor would prescribe antidepressants or opioids, but they don't help that much either, and the side effects could be even worse than the pain. Not that a doctor would be able to get their hands on those kinds of things these days, anyway. I simply have to live in constant dread of the next attack. The gentle sunlight leaking through the portals stabs at my eyes. It must be morning. No point in lying around here, I suppose. I hear a sudden, satisfying crunch from somewhere across the room.
Samurai sword on my back. You don't know how to act. Maybe you should relax. Maybe you should relapse. Just kidding. Stop. Woo. Woo. Stop.
I take my seat at the controls and pump the choke lever until I hear the engine sputter into life. I tap all the gauges to check they're working, and signal to Minimo out of the small window in the top of the sub. Okay, disengage the clamps. Minimo flaps her arms back at me with a troubled expression. Sorry, I can't hear a word you're saying. I can't hear her through the glass, and her arm movements don't communicate anything except possibly frightened goose. Better signal to Catherine instead. Grinning like a demon plunging a sinner into the depths of hell, she disengages the lock. I feel the sub sway as it floats freely in the water. I call out through the radio. Okay, lower the crane. I tug the control stick and the sub's manipulator arms grasp the crane's hook. I attach it to the eyelet on top of the egg. Venting the ballast tanks. The sea around the sub ripples with bubbles as the tanks empty out their air and replace it with water. The rotund little ship starts to gradually submerge as it grows heavy with ballast. The color outside the window darkens from the baby blue of the sky to the deep aqua of the sea. The submarine, Serpens albus, slowly sinks into the water, glistening into the morning sun. Sunk beneath the waves, buried here at the bottom of the ocean is a town just a few years ago was teeming with people. The sight of the buildings shimmering in the sunlight, piercing the water, is uncanny. It's like time has stopped. This town was not the only one to be enveloped by the sea. When the waters around the world suddenly began to rise, entire cities were plunged into this limbo. No one knows why. Scientists posited that it might be climate change or some kind of movement in the Earth's crust, but no one can say for sure. All we really know is that sea level suddenly began to rise inexorably, swallowing up more and more land. The mysterious phenomenon brought humanity to its knees, almost entirely destroying our civilization. They say we've entered the twilight of our species, and it's hard to disagree. The population had already started to drop before I was born, and by the time I became aware of the world, it was already doomed. Even though I lived through the terror of the Great Sea Rise, I don't really have any conception of the supposed times of plenty that adults talk about. They're always droning on about the past and other bullshit, but this is the only world I've ever known. Something inside me wants to blame the state of this planet on them. As I sit there, lost in my thoughts, a transmission comes through my radio. Great. I'll be arriving at the target soon. After a moment's lag, the reply comes. The lag's a necessary annoyance, given that the radio waves don't pass through water too easily. All of our communications are converted into high-frequency sound waves, which naturally travel slower. If you want to get out of here so much, why not find some other job? You don't want to die a debt collector, do you? Just as I'm about to get back to work, another voice comes through comes over the radio. What's wrong? You sound like you're about to burst into tears. It's fine. A little bit creaky, but nothing to worry about. It looks pretty nice down here. I should show you sometime. This kind of scenery could take someone's breath away, that's for sure. I'm telling you, it's fine. The thing might be old, but that means it's tough and simple, too. Oh yeah, that. Ah, I sigh. You really are a good girl, aren't you? Giggling with a strangely elated tone, she ends the transmission. What the hell is that? Gah, that completely broke my concentration. My grandmother was an ocean geologist. She left me with a lot in her will. Although her home was flooded, her boat and the submarine that she used for fieldwork weren't taken by the waters. She was obsessed with her research and despised children. Before she died, she poured a significant amount of her savings into something that she locked up in her storehouse. And that's what I'm here to salvage. There it is, her house. For a short time, I suppose it was mine, too. I grasp the controls and steer the sub into the back garden. There, just as I remember, is the storehouse. It's quite big, almost out of keeping with the size of the actual house. My grandmother never let me get close to it. Perhaps she was keeping materials related to her research in there. Now, however, it's the only place I'm interested in. Getting in might be difficult, though. The storehouse heavy iron doors look to be locked tight. We're going to break the doors down. When I give you the signal, wind the winch. I reach the manipulator arm up to undo the crane's hook and attach it to the bar holding the two doors solidly closed. Okay, pull. The cable winds back swiftly and snaps taut, but the doors don't move an inch. Huh, no dice. Just as I'm about to give the signal to stop, a clang and the sound of creaking metal echo through the water. The door collapses, sending up a billowing cloud of sediment. The resulting opening is large enough for the serpent's elbows to fit straight through. Well, looks like that'll do. If I hadn't been able to get these doors open, I would have had to break through the roof, and that could have damaged whatever's inside. It's been 10 years. Finally time to see what's in there. I orient the sub towards the door and slowly start to push forward. The inside of the storehouse is in far better condition than the outside. The walls are lined with bookshelves full of research materials, and measurement buoys and data collection equipment are scattered all over the floor. As a kid, this place would have made the perfect playground. I can picture my grandmother thinking about all the fun children could get up to in here, and scowling as she locked the doors. Probably a wise decision, to be fair. I shine the sublights across the room, searching out my target. The fact that I don't actually know what I'm looking for makes that easier said than done. However, it's supposed to be something valuable, but to my untrained eyes, all of the devices in here look like they cost a pretty penny. Crabs and fish skitter around the assorted detritus, fleeing from the torch beams. I notice an odd object as I sweep the lights around. What's that? It's a large oblong box, but here in the murky gloom it almost looks like a sunken sarcophagus. Slowing my engine so that my screw drives don't kick up too much sediment, I cautiously approach. It really does seem to be some kind of casket. It's the perfect size for a single person. Part of the surface seems to be glass. I peer through the gloom. A mannequin? No. A girl? Inside the capsule is a young girl, as delicate and fragile looking as an antique doll. Strangely, I don't feel even an inkling of fear or discomfort. Maybe it's because this seems so unreal, or perhaps it's just how adorable she looks. Whatever the case, I have no idea what she really is. There's only one thing I'm sure about. This has to be what I'm here for. What even is this? It looks like it has electricity, but that's all I can really tell from looking at it. I'm going to have to raise the whole thing. I'm not going to be able to manage that with just the manipulator arm. I'll have to rely on the crane. I steer the sub back out of the building and pull the wire from the remains of the door. Dragging it along behind me, I make my way back to the casket. As I approach it, my hands slip from the control stick and the sub nudges the case. It's not a hard hit, but for a moment a chill runs down my spine. I haven't broken it, have I? It doesn't seem like the glass is cracked. But the eyes of the girl in the casket have opened. Our gaze meets through the glass. She's alive. I know my voice can't be reaching her, but she tilts her head slightly as if in response. Suddenly, like a bit of lightning, a name pops into my mind. I'd heard it once in the hospital at my grandmother's bedside. ATRI? Or ATRI? The girl watches the movement of my lips carefully. And she smiles. She really is alive. But what is she? As I sit wondering what to do next, the girl starts to move. She begins to tap away at some panels inside her capsule. The glass of the case opens. A great cloud of bubbles billows out as the casket is inundated with water. What are you doing? It seems like she didn't realize she was underwater. As much as she panics and tries to hammer the controls, there's no closing the glass now. I've got to save her. At that moment, a shadow looms over me. The sudden rush of air from the casket buffets the ceiling of the building, the already water-damaged framework seemingly rattled by my destruction of the doors. The walls start to cave in, and the concrete ceiling cracks. No! I instinctively push the control stick forward. The serpent obelisk moans in agony as steel beams collapse on top of it. Thankfully, I've managed to cover the girl from harm. But we're not out of the woods yet. Ugh, this is bad. Am I trapped? I try to pull my engine into reverse, but the sub is pinned down under the ceiling. My mind is instantly filled with intense, gruesome memories. I'm buried alive, just like before. My body is quickly coated in ice-cold sweat, and pain throbs through the spot where my leg should be. As the weight above me seems to bear down on my very soul, my eyes meet the girl's. She stares at me with a strange look, as if she doesn't realize the danger that she's in. I've got to save her. Grasping the controls, I try to find the hook of the crane to affix it to the sub, but it's nowhere to be found. Did it come off in the impact? I try to peer around the floor, but my manipulator arms couldn't reach down there even if I did see it, and the sub can't move an inch. What do I do? Ugh. Pain and panic surges through my brain, and I feel my consciousness grow distant. Just as I'm about to black out, I see the girl jump from the casket. She reaches down and lifts a glimmering silver object, the hook. Please, give that to me. She tilts her head to the side and stares. She places the hook in the fingers of my manipulator. I quickly attach it to the sub's frame. Hey, can you hear me up there? Wind the winch! Quick!
なんて聞こえない。どうしたの、夏くん。何かあった？
Wind the winch! Now!
おいおい、そんなことしたら。
If they don't do it this instant, I'm going to end up completely crushed.
わかった。えい。ってこらバカ娘。なんてことするの。
I grab the girl from the casket in the manipulator arm. She stares impassively at me through the window, unfazed by the metal gripper around her waist. Isn't she scared? If anything, she looks particularly relaxed. Why is she struggling for breath by now? I'm thrown from my seat from the sudden acceleration as the winch pulls taut, the sub creaking painfully as the ceiling pinning it down scrapes against it.
あんたが無茶するから転覆するかと思ったわ。戻ってきた。やけに急いでるわね。こいつはお宝を見つけたわね。
When the hull breaks the water, I fling open the hatch. Calling out, I head towards the ship's fore.
危ないよ、夏くん。何してるの？落っこちるわよ。あんたその足じゃ泳げないでしょ。
If I don't hurry, the girl's gonna die.
あの子？
Minamo suddenly notices the body held between the manipulator's claws.
誰？
The girl is floating face down, unmoving, her body limp. I crawl towards her and thrust out my hand. Grab hold, quickly! She doesn't move. Maybe she's unconscious. I push myself off the sub's hull, trying to make my way over to her. But as my foot drives against the rusty metal, I feel it shudder beneath me. What? My leg catches against the framework, my prosthetic leg, which tears away from my body. I fall into the water and sink beneath the surface. Stunned, I gaze up at the soft morning light glimmering through the azure. It's beautiful. Perhaps it's because I instantly realize the hopelessness of my plight, but I'm surprisingly calm. My clothes are heavy with water. My one leg doesn't even attempt to keep me afloat. Opening myself to the soft embrace of the cool, radiant light, I let myself be taken by the depths. So, this is how I die. At least I'm going to die somewhere beautiful. I'd rather my last breath fill my lungs with water than darkness. As I gaze in wonder at the shimmering light, like a million jewels enveloping my body, a shadow starts to form within them. It grows and grows, blocking all that beauty from my view. Stop it! Don't take the light away! The darkness scares me. The shadow bears down on me, and I feel a strange sensation against my lips. I see clearly now. The shadow is the girl. What is she doing? She's sinking with me, pushing air into my mouth from her own. As I feel her gift of oxygen fill my lungs, a terrible thought begins to float through my mind. I don't want to die. I came to this town because I had lost everything. I thought I had no reason to live anymore. And yet, I do not want to die. What a selfish, greedy creature a human can be, to want to live on without reason. But now there's no way back. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. If she hadn't tried to save me, she could have lived on. But even with her breath sustaining me, my one remaining leg can do nothing but keep us from falling into the darkness. A plume of bubbles erupts from her mouth as she tries to say something. Not wishing to waste any more air, she quickly presses her mouth back to mine and points upward. Huh? Through the shining water comes a shape. A thin, long line connecting us to the light. A rope. I grasp hold of it and wrap my other arm around the girl. I collapse on the ship's deck, basking in the sheer joy of breathing freely once more. Thanks for the help, Minamo.
私じゃないよ。債務者を逃がさないのが私の仕事だからね。
She holds up the rope with a grin. I don't have the energy to snap at her like I normally would. For once, I'm grateful for her debt collector's instincts.
ところでさ、この小娘は何も？
She's sitting next to me, soaking wet, seemingly unfazed. She's still holding the sleeve of my shirt in her hand. Her grip is firm, as if she's trying to stop me from jumping into the sea again. Thank you.
いえ、当然の務めを果たしたまでです。
What a strange phrasing.
この子、どこから来たの？潜るとき一緒じゃなかったよね。
I found her down there. She was sleeping in my grandmother's storehouse.
どういうこと？
I think she might be a robot.
あなた方人がそうそう称する精密機器に属していますが、その呼び方は少々広範囲すぎるかと思います。
She's not human. She's just a robot in the shape of a human.
ヒューマノイドね。あのばあさんこんなもの隠し持ってたの
Humanoids, robots intended to resemble humans as much as possible. Also marketed as androids or gynoids, depending on the manufacturer. Humanoids were produced en masse when humanity's technology progress was at its peak, and their construction was so advanced that they were indistinguishable from humans. They don't need to breathe, but their vocal systems are intended to replicate the human voice box. Naturally, that means they need a pair of lungs, or at least something resembling them, to hold air. I owe my life to that particular design quirk.
この子ロボットなんだ。すごい、全然見えない。当然です。高性能ですから。でかしたわ坊や。こいつは高く売れるわよ。え、売っちゃうの？当たり前でしょ。そのためにサルベージしたんだから。今じゃ珍しくなったからね。ふっかけりゃヤチグサ博士の借金をチャラにして余裕でお釣りが来るわね。でもそういうのはダメなんじゃないかな。そのなんとなく。
Minamo looks back and forth between Catherine and the robot girl. Somehow I don't think she'd have the same kind of reaction if she was looking at any other piece of industrial machinery. But to the untrained eye, this girl looks just like a human being.
そうです。ダメです。ほら、この子もこう言ってるよ。私はマスターの所有物ですので、勝手に売買するのは違法です。マスター？ああ、ヤチグサ博士ね。博士なら。
Your master died a month ago. This town sunk into the rising seas 3 years ago. You've been asleep down there for all that time. The robot counts to 3 on her fingers. A look of realization dawns on her face.
マスター、死んじゃったんですか？そうですか。合唱。なんか軽い。 トなんだから、これでも感情表現豊かな方でしょ。でも安心して、ばあさんの遺産はこいつが相続した。つまり今のマスターはこの坊や。
The robot girl turns to me and peers closely at my face.
そうなんですか。あなたが。
Yeah, I suppose I'm your master now.
さっき海の中で出会った時からそんな気がしていました。やっぱりそうだったんですね。
She speaks with a strange air of conviction. She tugs on my sleeve again. She looks like a kid who's just found her dad. I wonder if a sufficiently advanced robot without a master experiences the same fears as a lost child would.
何とお呼びしましょう。ご希望があればどうぞ。例えばお兄ちゃんとかパパとか兄様とか兄ちゃまとか。
Just call me Natsuki. I abruptly cut her off before she says something I really don't want to have in my head. Ikaraga Natsuki, that's my name.
夏希。
And what do I call you?
型番ですか？
She reaches behind her head to lift up her hair. Her serial number must be on the back of her neck. No, I'm asking if you have a name. I wouldn't be surprised if that old bag never gave her one.
アトリです。マスターが名付けてくれました。
ATRI. That's a nice name. The words slipped out of my mouth without thinking it.
でしょ？固有名が与えられるのは物であるロボットが命あるものとして承認された証ですからね。いわゆる一つのステータスってやつです。
Robots think of names in that way? I'd never considered that before.
夏希もなかなかいい名前だと思いますよ。
Are you patronizing me?
こういう目線ですよ。
She looks up at me with a blank expression. It's probably my imagination, but there seems to be a glint of mischief in her young, delicate eyes. Then again, maybe it's just a reflection of the midday sun. I think back to the lights that I saw underwater. After staring at me for a while, ATRI suddenly smiles. It's a smile so soft and gentle that I have the sudden wish to capture this moment in amber for eternity.
よろしくお願いしますね、夏希さん。
ATRI, my dear moments. I remember the first thing my grandmother said to me when I walked into her hospital room, propped up by a walking stick, dragging my ill-fitted prosthetic leg. And that's all. If I hadn't sold my cybernetic leg, I would have been able to pay my tuition fees. Or I wouldn't have been able to pay my tuition fees.
挙句逃げ帰ってきたんだろ。誰に似ちまったのかね。私のせいか。
I didn't expect those words to hit me so hard, but they did. To hear this selfish woman say that something was her fault came straight out of the blue.
でもま、帰ってきてくれてよ。
I was surprised to hear someone as cantankerous as her would employ a maid. I don't know what you really want me to do, but I can tell it's not something I can manage. I'm a mess after all.
足くらいなんだってんだ。あんたはまだ負けちゃいない。地球を救うんだろ。 あの島はまだ海を漂っているはずだ。探しておくれ、ナツキ。
When we reach the pier, Minamo hurriedly hops off the boat.
すごく気になるけど学校行かなきゃだから。あと明日は絶対学校来てね。クラスで話し合いたいことがあるの。
She runs off without waiting for a reply.
ああ、もう大遅刻だよ。学校。さて、私らも行こうか。
Where to?
町よ。そいつを売らなきゃいけないでしょ。どこで売るかはさておき、大体の値段だけ先に見積もっておきたいわ。
She hops down from the ship too. I'm about to jump down myself when I feel ATRI staring up at me with a strange expression. She's been clinging to my sleeve this whole time.
手をお貸ししましょうか。
Nope, I've got this. I jump down from the swaying deck. I brace myself with my walking stick as I land, wobbling. Easy, I can manage that in my sleep. ATRI follows me, hurriedly trotting up to me and grabbing onto my sleeve again. Let's go.
はいです。
We traveled all the way into the center of town. Long ago, the shopping street here was extremely lively. As time changed, it became nearly abandoned, but the economic shock caused by the Great Sea Rise led it to becoming a thriving hub of trade once again. Now it's a chaotic, bustling place, a black market full of stalls and vendors.
いいね。こういうゴミゴミした場所は好きよ。私みたいなのが紛れてても目立ちにくいからね。セーブは大事です。
Alright, why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching ATRI
しますか？
on PC.
タイトルに戻っちゃっていいですか？
Again, this game is not ready.
マイディアモーメンツ。
This game is not ready for release quite yet. It will come out in June 2020. At least that's the plan. Of course, it's hard to say if they're going to make their release date with the pandemic going on right now. It may get delayed even further. But we will play the demo all the way through, and hopefully it'll be something that will remain interesting. So far, I can say that this is a very, very intriguing, very intriguing setting. The characters themselves seem pretty interesting. The translation, the English translation, is actually really, really good. It's using language that's more complex than what would normally be in a visual novel. So I'm happy to say that it looks and sounds good, and I definitely want to see what happens at the end of this. So hopefully they manage to release on time, and this demo will whet our appetite for the final adventure. So you can download this demo yourself on Steam. It's available for free, and yeah, I'll definitely be playing it when it becomes the full release. But for now, we'll just finish the demo, and we'll enjoy what we have. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.